Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the top 5 sports cars that you need to own in GTA Online. But before we jump right into it, I would just like to take a moment to remind you to like this video and subscribe to my channel. We are so close to 250 subscribers, and I'd like to get as close as possible to 300 before Christmas. As always, your support is always appreciated, and I hope you enjoy the video. Let's get into it. And to start off our list, at number 5 we have the Paragon R. And the Paragon R is based off of the Bentley Continental GT. And it can be picked up on Legendary Motorsport for a relatively cheap $905,000. Now, the car I'm driving in the clip you're watching is not the regular Paragon R. This is the armoured version. And the armoured version also comes weaponized, so that's pretty handy. I can't actually remember how you get the armored version. I don't believe it's up for I don't believe you can just buy it, but I might be wrong. But anyway, the base car is still the same as the regular one, so yeah. Overall, the performance of this vehicle is relatively good. Top speed is also relatively good. I mean, it is just like an all-round good car. There's not really any flaws with it, and if you can get that armored version, then that is definitely a big plus, because you're going to be able to take a lot more damage. And the customization on this car is also like really good. I really like how I've designed mine. You get pretty good, like pretty solid livery choices, so yeah, that's pretty good as well. The machine guns on this car are pretty shit, but they are on like every single vehicle as well, so that don't really matter all that much. You can still use your regular weapons in this car, which I find quite useful, and you can't do that in every single weaponized vehicle. And for the very cheap price of $905,000, you are getting more than your money's worth, because this is an all-round like fantastic car, and I do enjoy driving it around quite a lot. I've had it for a long time, I've made it look quite nice, and I would definitely recommend picking this one up. And coming in 4th place we have the Karen Futo, and I believe it is primarily based around the Toyota Corolla 11 AE86. Now sadly, this version of the Karen Futo has been removed from the game, but you can still pick it up like just by finding it on the street somewhere. And if you look up online, it should tell you like where it spawns most often. But when I bought it back in the day, I'm pretty sure it was only around like 9,000. So that is like incredibly cheap. The cheapest car I've ever reviewed on this channel so far. But let's actually talk about the car now. And the top speed, it's not that great, but definitely could be worse. The handling on this car is actually pretty shit. But I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be, because it is like kind of a drift car. Like if you know what you're doing, you can definitely do some cool stuff with this by drifting it around. But I'm not a very good driver. So, but the main selling point of the Karen Futo is it's got the best customization out of any car I've ever seen. I mean, you can make this car look so cool in so many different ways. And me and my friends, like a couple of years ago, we all bought our own Karen Futos. And then we drove around on the casino track and had a big race. I mean, all the cars looked so different, but like it was hard to believe it was the same like base model car. So definitely not a choice for a racing, but if you want a car to drive around and look cool, then this is definitely one for you to pick up, because that is exactly what it does. It can drive around relatively well, and it looks fantastic. The only major negative is that it has been removed from the game, but you still can just find it on the street, so that's fine. But anyway, let's move on to my number 3. And here we have the Italy RSX. And it is based off of the Ferrari SF90 Stradale. And unlike the other cars so far, this is one of the most expensive cars in the whole game, coming in at around $3.4 million from Legendary Motorsports. So, is this car actually worth that insane price? And the answer is kind of confusing, because in my version of GTA, I don't have access to HSW upgrades, and from what I've heard, with HSW upgrades, the RSX is one of the fastest sports cars in the entire game. But without it, I mean, it is still up there with like speed-wise, but it's not nearly as quick, and it can be beaten by a lot of other cars that are a lot cheaper. So yeah, that is a bit of a negative, but if you have the money, I would say definitely pick this thing up, because it is actually quite good, and just because it's slower than a few other cars doesn't make it a slow car in general. So yes, it is worth the money in my opinion. And let's talk about the performance a little bit. The handling on this thing is actually quite good for a car that goes as fast as this does. It's a lot better than a lot of other cars around its price. and I actually find it one of the easier cars to control. And a big positive of the RSX is its customization, because kind of similar to the Futo, as you can just make it look so cool in such a different variety of ways. I mean, there's just so much you can do with this car. It's got a lot of cool liveries and a lot of if I remember right, it's got quite unique spoiler options that I think only this car has. I don't think any other vehicle in the game has it, so that's quite cool. I mean, I don't have it because I don't actually like the look of them, but yeah, if you do, then definitely go with it, because it's the only car in the whole game where you can get it. So overall, it's a great car, and pick it up if you have the money. And moving on to our second place, we have the Italy GTO. And I'm pretty sure this car is based off of the Ferrari 812. And you can get the GTO from Legendary Motorsport for $1.9 million. And I actually think that is the perfect price for a vehicle like this, because not only can this car reach very high top speeds, but it is also one of the best cars in the whole game for races. I mean, pretty much every time I win a race, it is just because I'm using the Italy GTO. I mean, the thing's a bit overpowered in racing, and that has helped because the handling on this car is actually very good, which I was quite surprised by, because I wasn't expecting it to be good at all. For $2 million, I was expecting quite poor handling, because that's just how GTA cars work for some reason, but yeah. So overall, the performance is actually very, very good, and perfect for $2 million. So let's move on and talk about the customization. Now I've seen so many different Italy GTOs that look just incredible. And I got to the point where I didn't even know what to do with mine, so I just made it white, because even that just looks good as well. I mean, something as simple as that, it still just looks incredible on this car, because the car is just very good looking in my opinion. Especially the back. I mean, the back is, I think that's my favourite back end of any car in the whole of GTA. And in my opinion, I would rather drive the GTO over a lot of other supercars, especially those more expensive than it. I mean, I just feel that almost every single factor is better with the GTO than any other car. I mean, the speed, handling, all of that it's just impeccable on this car. I mean, it's not quite good enough to be at number one for me, because number one is just insane in my opinion. But yeah, for $2 million, this is actually about the perfect car that you can pick up. And I highly, highly recommend it to every single one of you who don't have this car. But with all that being said, let's move on to my number one sports car that everyone should own in GTA Online. And in number one, we have the Pariah, which is based upon the real-life Aston Martin Zagato, which is just a lovely car. I mean, I just love Aston Martins. And this car is actually incredibly affordable. I mean, you can pick it up from Legendary Motorsports for just $1.4 million, which for a car of this quality is an absolute steal. And to be honest, I think that every single person who has GTA Online needs the Pariah, because this car has a little bit of everything. It has incredible top speeds, handling. This is the best handling car that I've ever driven. I mean, I just love this thing to bits. And even the customization is quite strong. I mean, you can make this thing look incredible in a lot of ways. And the only real negative thing about this car is that it doesn't look as pretty as some of the other cars do, but it is still a pretty car. I mean, I know a lot of people aren't too fond of it, but I still quite like it, and I would still choose to drive this thing over every single other car in the whole game. This is my favourite car in the entire game. Everyone needs to own this. I don't know how many times I have to say that. Every single person who has GTA needs the Pariah now. Click off this video. Actually, no, don't click off this video. Wait until the end, but then as soon as it's over, get on GTA and buy a Pariah. Because I'm not joking, I would happily pay 2, maybe even 3 times the price of this car for what it's worth. I mean, I would happily pay $3.5 million for this thing, because that's just how good it is. I mean, I don't even consider its speed one of its main factors, but even that, it can outpace almost any car that I've raced against. And its handling is superior to almost any other car I've ever driven in GTA. And yeah, as it is extremely affordable, there is really no reason why you shouldn't have it. And I am starting to notice a trend. I think, and a lot of people may agree with me or disagree with me, that a lot of cars between the 1.3 to maybe 2 million mark are far superior to anything over that. I mean, I don't know what it is, but just cars in those price ranges just outperform every other more expensive car in every single way. But yeah, I've said it once, I'll say it a million more times. You need the Pariah now. And anyone who chooses not to pick this up is honestly missing out massively. As in my opinion, it's the best car in the whole game. So yeah, that was my list. And I hope I've been able to convince you to purchase at least one of the cars from my list. And as always, if you did enjoy, remember to like and subscribe. Help me hit 250 subscribers. We are so close. And it would really help me out because I am aiming for 300 subscribers by Christmas, which would just be incredible. But with all that being said, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Have a wonderful day, and I'll see you in the next one.